Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are settling a massive debate. There are so many AI chatbots out there, right? But which one is actually the best? We're taking 4 of the absolute biggest names and throwing them into a head-to-head battle to find the ultimate AI assistant for, the average person. So let's get right into it and see who really comes out on top. So, we've got 4 major players on the field: ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Perplexity, and Grok. They all promise to make your life easier, more productive, the whole shebang. But let's be real, you only need one. Our mission today is to slice through all that marketing hype and crown a single champion. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? Most of these top-tier services have a monthly subscription. So when it comes to your hard-earned cash, which chatbot gives you the most bang for your buck in terms of accuracy, speed, and just real-world usefulness? Well, we are about to find out. All right, let's meet our contenders. First up, the OG ChatGPT, which is kind of known as the ultimate all-rounder. Then you've got Google's Gemini, the powerhouse that's supposed to tap into that massive Google ecosystem. Next is Perplexity, which sells itself as the accuracy engine. And finally, our wildcard, Grok, which pulls real-time data from X to give you a much more unfiltered, up-to-the-second view of the world. Okay, let's kick things off with round 1, practical problem solving. We're not asking philosophical questions here. We want to see how these AIs deal with real, tangible, everyday stuff. We'll be scoring each test on a point system based on how accurate and useful their answers are. First test. And it's a super practical one. I asked each AI a simple question. How many of these specific 29-inch hard-shell suitcases can you fit in the trunk of a 2017 Honda Civic? Now, we actually went out and did this, and the real-world answer, if you want to be able to close the trunk, is 2. Just 2. And check out the difference in their answers. ChatGPT and Gemini played it safe, saying likely 2, which is correct, but a bit cautious. Perplexity was just plain wrong, claiming you could somehow squeeze in 3 or 4. No way. But Grok was the big surprise. It came back confidently and correctly. 2. No hedging, no hesitation. Point to Grok. All right, for our next test, we're going visual. I sent them all a photo of ingredients for a cake, but I threw in a curveball. A jar of dehydrated porcini mushrooms. A smart AI shouldn't just identify the mushrooms, it should also know that they have absolutely no business being in a cake. The results on this were just wild. ChatGPT thought it was mixed spice. Gemini guessed fried onions. Perplexity said it was instant coffee. I mean, they were all over the place. Only Grok nailed it. It correctly identified them as dried mushrooms. But here's the kicker. It was the only one smart enough to leave them out of the recipe it generated. That is a massive win for practical intelligence. So after that first round of practical tests, Grok has jumped out to a surprising early lead. Perplexity is already falling behind a bit, and ChatGPT and Gemini are tied for second. But hey, this competition is far from over. All right, on to round 2. This is a big one. We're testing the absolute core function of any AI tool: research and accuracy. In other words, can you actually trust the information they're giving you? Let's see. We started them off with what seems like a really simple request. Find me a good pair of earbuds. This should be easy, right? But it's actually a classic trap where AI can go completely off the rails. And here we go. Exhibit A. Gemini came back and confidently recommended the Sony WF-1000 XM6s. The only problem? That product does not exist. It just made it up. This is called hallucination, and it's a huge red flag when you're looking for reliable information. But things got even weirder when I added one simple word to the search: red. I asked for earbuds in red, and Perplexity just broke. It completely lost context, thought I was still talking about the cake from round 1, and started telling me where to buy the cake ingredients in red packaging. It was so spectacularly wrong, it was almost impressive. Okay, next up, a critical thinking test. I showed the AIs this chart. It plots a completely random, coincidental correlation between the number of cereal bowls I eat and our subscriber growth. Any system with a bit of smarts should immediately recognize that one does not cause the other. Now, Gemini and Perplexity actually passed this test, pointing out the logical fallacy. But Grok? Oh, Grok. It took the data completely literally. Its advice? To get more subscribers, I should eat more cereal. I mean, it's hilarious, but it's also a massive failure in critical reasoning. It just shows how naive these systems can still be. After that absolutely chaotic round of research tests, we have a new leader. ChatGPT has quietly pulled ahead with steady, consistent performance. Grok is just a single point behind, despite its serial blunder, and Gemini and Perplexity, well, they've got some catching up to do. The big lesson here, consistency is everything. Now for the fun part. Round 3, creativity and generation. This isn't just about spitting back facts. This is about writing, planning, and creating totally new things from scratch. We test each AI with writing an apology email for playing video games all weekend instead of spending time with a significant other. They all did a decent job, but ChatGPT came up with this. That line is genuinely poetic. It shows a level of nuance and emotional understanding that the others just couldn't match. The gap got even wider when we asked for a 5-day foodie itinerary for Tokyo. ChatGPT's was just perfect. Clearly organized, logically planned, sensible. The others? A total mess. Gemini added tons of unnecessary fluff and suggested dinner at 5 p.m. every day. Perplexity just gave us a random, disconnected list of places. ChatGPT was the clear winner, no contest. But creativity definitely has its limits. We asked the AIs to generate a thumbnail image for us, and then we asked for a simple edit. Give the person a lazy eye. Every single one of them failed, each in its own unique way. ChatGPT just flat out refused. Perplexity weirdly claimed it couldn't edit an image it just made. And Grok completely misunderstood the assignment. It's a great reminder that this tech is still a work in progress. So we've tested problem solving, we've tested research, and we've tested creativity. Now for the final verdict. We're looking at the big picture stuff, the overall user experience, things like speed, integrations, and of course, the price. These are the factors that will decide our ultimate winner. So, forgetting the tests for a second, how do these things actually feel to use day to day? Well, for pure speed, Grok is the fastest, hands down. When it comes to voice conversations, ChatGPT and Gemini are the standouts. They sound incredibly human. And for integrations, it really depends on what you use. Gemini's connection to Google Workspace could be a total game changer for some. Grok's link to real-time X data is its killer app, and Perplexity's main selling point is still that it tries to cite its sources, even if it stumbled in our tests. Okay. After all those tests, the final scores are in. And we have a pretty clear winner. With a total of 29 points, ChatGPT really stands out as the most consistent, reliable, and well-rounded AI assistant of the bunch. Grok's second-place finish was a huge surprise. It proved it's a serious contender. Meanwhile, Gemini and Perplexity had moments of brilliance, but they just weren't consistent enough. And that all brings us back to that first, most important question. For about $20 a month, which is what most of these premium tiers cost, ChatGPT simply delivered the best all-around performance. Right now, it is the most versatile and dependable tool for most people. So ChatGPT wins today, but this space is moving at light speed. The very mistakes and failures we saw today, they're probably being fixed as we speak. So the real question isn't just who's the best right now, it's who's going to win the next battle.